Hello there YouTube, MooMooHK back again with another video, and today I'm not going to be showing a Grim video. I'm pretty confident actually that I'm essentially finished with Grim, although I might add little bits and pieces here and there, but I think I'm done developing it. Sooner or later I might just start making proper tutorials like I used to, which instruct people on how to use it. Okay, so today I'm actually going to be announcing my site, which is being graciously hosted on the minelord.com server, Minelord being a Minecraft community, which I am part of, and it's a great place, great people, great fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot on the site so far. Most importantly is probably this documentation page, and it actually includes the Java docs for all my projects, so you don't actually have to download them anymore. You could if you wanted to have them in Eclipse, but let's just say you don't. You can actually refer to this from your browser. So let's just say I wanted to see the API for the base class. I just go like this, and here we go. Just like that. Yeah, I finished the Java doc for Graham. It took me about a week, which is pretty insane. And at any time, you can just click this little thing here, which is actually, I think, my second foray into JavaScript. Since I opened the site, I've kind of been getting into that. Not a lot, though. Java docs for MooConsole and MooCommands are also up here. Of course, it wasn't as much work making the Java docs for those two projects. Alrighty, so that's my site. Let's get into Eclipse, and I'll demonstrate something new that I made last night. I'm just going to erase this so I can rewrite it and talk about what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Let's get rid of the imports. I'm just using some random package in a random project. I have too many, actually. I really need to organize my workspace. Anyway, so I made this thing called FrameDragger. I mean, it's not a very original name, but then again, I think Graham is the most originally named project of all of mine. All right, so what this does basically, this little project, this little library, it's a class basically. What it'll do is it will enable you to drag J-frames or other swing/AWT elements around the screen. If you didn't get what I just said, I'm going to demonstrate it, so hopefully that'll be easier to follow. So I'm just going to declare a new JFrame right here, standard import. I'm going to do a bit of the basic stuff, just like setting just a random size, making sure that it spawns in the middle of the screen, making sure that the program will exit when I close the JFrame, and that's not the right default close operation. There we go, and you should be lowercase l. All right, what else am I missing? Oh yeah, frame.set resizable false. Now frame.set visible true. Okay, so we have a JFrame. If we run this, we'll see that we have a 200 by 200 pixel JFrame. Acts just like any other JFrame. I just made it non-resizable, but it doesn't actually matter. Just for the sake of demonstration, I made it non-resizable. So it stays 200 by 200. Just, I don't know, personal preference. So you'll notice that obviously it's pretty standard that you can move JFrames by grabbing the menu bar and dragging it around. But I was actually on a side project in which I was dealing with the non-decorated JFrame, which looks like this. It is essentially a JFrame with no menu bar, so you can actually interact with it in any way. And if you want to close it, you actually have to add a button, which closes it, a J button. So this is not what this demonstration is about, so I want to actually go and add that button, but it's not very difficult. So yeah, like I said, undecorated JFrames are good if you want to have sort of like a loading thing when your application starts up or something like that. But it occurred to me that the user might want to move it out of the middle of their screen, which you can't do currently. So I made FrameDragger. Now, in order to implement FrameDragger, it's super easy. Literally one line of code. You type this in. Of course, you need to add FrameDragger to your build path. New FrameDragger. Let's import that. Dot apply to. We want to apply it to a certain component, and in this case, we're going to use frame. That's our JFrame, and that is it. Now, if we run this, boom, we can drag it around just like that. You won't be able to move it out of the bounds of the screen. I haven't tested it on Windows, but I'm probably imagine I'm using a Mac right now, and it was going through the menu bar before I actually made it, so it can't leave the screen. And I haven't tested this on Windows, so I don't know how it interacts with the toolbar at the bottom. Or let's say you move the toolbar to the side, I don't know how it'll interact with that, but this configuration, I mean, it should work. It should work. So yeah, that's basically FrameDragger. Now there's one more feature which I would like to demonstrate right now. There are actually two apply to methods. One of them receives one parameter, which is a component, this, and the other apply to method will receive 4 parameters. It will receive a component and 3 runnables. The first runnable will be for an on-pressed event, which is when you click the mouse when inside the window. The second runnable will be for on-released, which is when you release the mouse when inside the window, and the third one will be on-dragged, which is when you drag the window. These are basically hooks, since FrameDragger is actually both a mouse listener and a mouse motion listener, so it has those implemented methods. So if you send runnables, whenever those methods get fired, since they're listeners, it'll run the runnables that you provide. So let's just say we want to have something happen when somebody clicks anywhere inside the window. So I'm going to declare a new runnable. I'm just going to call it onPress for the sake of simplicity. I'm going to call it new runnable. In the run method, I'm going to make it print you pressed inside the frame. Great, now we have our onPressed runnable. We need to now send it to the FrameDragger. But remember, it receives 2 other runnables. We don't actually have to send them though. We could just do onPress. The first one will be the onPress. The second one will be onReleased, but we don't actually have a runnable for that, so we're just going to send null. And this one is going to be onDragged. Now, if we run this and we click inside the window, you'll notice that yeah, it'll run this code. For the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to call this onReleased. You released the frame. We'll make it send that, and instead of null, we'll send onReleased right here as a second parameter. If we run this, works flawlessly. Now, the most practical use would be with JFrames, obviously, but the first parameter will be a component. So you can actually send any swing or AWT element, including JPanels, JLabels, JButtons, whatever, but weird stuff tends to happen when you do it for those. But, you know, it's good to have in case anybody would ever want to sort of use that for something. Now, I'm going to show a practical use for FrameDragger. I've actually been working on this little thing. Here we go, CountLines. This program, well, I'll just show you. Let's run this. You'll immediately notice this GUI. Now, without me explaining, you probably won't understand what this does. So let's go ahead and hit this help button. Here we go. Notice how this is an undecorated JFrame. It's also modal, so you can actually go back to the parent JFrame. Thank you for using CountLines. That's the name of this program. This program is designed to count your files for you. Start by providing a file at which to start scanning in the input field. You can try double-clicking it and then hit enter. You can always stop the process by hitting the cancel button. Why should I use CountLine? Have a big programming project? Want to know how many lines are in it? How many files of each file type there are? Well, CountLine does all that and more. So I hope that kind of covers it. Also, you'll notice this little annotation down here which says drag me, and if you do, look at that. Yep. So I was just thinking, instead of it just being stuck in the middle of the screen and being all boring, it would be fun if, people could just drag it around. This is using FrameDragger. And that little thing that I showed you where it changes, that was, I sent a hook for onDragged, so whenever it dragged, it changed the text of the JLabel, which is down here. Now it disappeared since we opened the help dialog again. I made it so it does that. All right, so we can either type in a path to the file which we want. It'll work. If we hit escape, it'll clear the path. I'm just going to maximize this. Or we can double-click this field, and it'll open a file browser. Notice that if we click it, it'll turn gray for, what was it? I think it's 340 milliseconds, something like that. I figured that was a good amount. If you click again once it's gray, it'll register as a double click. So see, just like that. There's no actual way for me to signify clicking with this screen capture technology, but you could try it out for yourselves if you'd like to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually navigate to my Grame project. Whoops, you actually need to select the folder itself. So we have the Grame folder right here in the workspace. I'm going to click it. I'm going to click choose. And it'll automatically paste the path down here. All I have to do is hit start or the enter key. While this input field is selected, it'll do the same thing. And it's off. Now, it's flickering because the text in this text pane is getting updated quite a lot, actually. And yeah, so you'll see here it gives us a breakdown. We have one zip file, which contains 2,414 lines. The average is 2,414. The most important part is this section right here, which is the Java extension, basically all our Java files. 53 Java files and exactly 600 lines of code. That could be a bit off. I kind of doubt that I have exactly 6,000 lines. Maybe I'm just not updating these amounts. I should probably add a new... I'll just do that real quick right now. Hold on a second. Right when the operation is done, here we go. Get files off right. Update. Whoops. Update text. There we go. So now we're updating the moment the operation is finished. Whatever technical stuff you don't actually need to know. Once again, I'm going to double click and navigate to my Grame folder. I'm going to run this. It's going to go through the operation again. If it doesn't give us exactly 6,000 lines, then I guess I fixed the issue. Yeah, 6,005. All right. That did fix. There was an issue with that. Anyway, it's fixed now. Okay, so you'll get a breakdown for each file type. It goes by extension. And then here at the bottom, you'll get a total breakdown of how many files you have, how many files were scanned, how many lines were scanned, and the average of lines per file. Yeah, that's pretty much what this program does. I just made it out of boredom, but I actually had no idea how many lines of code Grame was, and this helped me find out. So yeah, you could try running it on anything. If I just run it on my desktop, it's going to take ages, but that's why I have this cancel button. You can hit it at any time and it'll just stop the process. Yeah, so that's it. I'm probably going to be uploading this as well. I think it's as finished as it's going to get. Yeah, it's pretty fun to play with, I guess. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks for watching.